Hello, my lovelies. This is Ned yet again with another marvelous, wonderful video for y'all to enjoy. This video today is going to be all about the Royal Giant. This is a top tier, at least in arena level, common troop. He's a lot like the Giant, has a ton of health, goes straight for the tower and other structures just like the Giant does, but ignores everything else. I have been struggling to use him. He got buffed in the last patch, and I've always been trying to figure out how to use him, and I had a lot of difficulties doing so. He doesn't live for very long. He's got a lot of health, but not as much as the Giant, and he attracts a lot of attention, and he seems to die pretty quickly. So I've been struggling to put together a workable, serviceable, good deck for him, and I think I finally found a good way to do so. So I think the main tactics that I used, or the main cards that are most important with this deck, are going to be the Golem, the Dragon, and the the Royal Giant, of course, and that Elixir Pump. Our whole goal here is to keep him alive. So I tried this also with the P.E.K.K.A. It didn't seem to work very well just because the P.E.K.K.A. gets distracted relatively easily. And the Golem just continues on towards the tower, bringing a lot of troops with it. And I think that that was the determining factor between the P.E.K.K.A. and the Golem in this particular build. The Dragon was excellent because it provided another tanky individual to tank up some damage, as well as provide good solid splash damage. So we're going to go ahead and watch this and just kind of see how it is I do it. And again, I'm not saying I'm the best at all. I sit kind of in the middle of a Royal Arena, always trying to get higher and further up, but it is what it is. So we're going to go ahead and speed this up to 2 speed because we're going to keep going. Now, this guy was kind of an a-hole. He uses that super cheese tactic of defend my mortar because that takes skill. Not at all. It's a very, very annoying tactic, and so I'm going to be honest with you, it's an immense amount of satisfaction for me when I beat some a-hole who's using that tactic. So one thing you can always do for that mortar is on the other side of the map, place a tanky individual like a Golem to soak up the damage. If you have a poison would have worked great over there on that right side, but unfortunately I didn't have it. So as you can see, the Dragon just kind of protects that Royal Giant. The Golem gets to that tower, takes up the damage, and with that first push, I'm able to take out that first turret, which is absolutely beautiful. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. And I'm just defending against this spammy deck, doing the best I can, and I end up, going 1 turret for 0, which is acceptable, and it made me happy, especially against such a cheese, stupid deck like this. I hate that mortar. So I end up getting a win. Always what you want is wins. You want those trophies, assuming you want those trophies. Some people I've actually seen don't want the trophies. They will drop down so it's easier to get the crown trophies. But I like getting my trophies. Maybe it's just me being me, but oh well, that's the way it is. Here's another one. This one I think was a little bit closer. It was a 2-1, which kind of shows you, we'll just go for it, see what happens. You guys will see what happens. I already played it. I know what happens. We know the final score, but we'll see how we got there. It's not the ending that's important, right? It's the journey. So let's go again. I'm going to speed this up again to that 2 speed. And this is a really annoying tactic. It's an excellent tactic. I like it for... I've used it a few times myself. It's using that Dark Prince and the Prince. Very annoying tactic. And there's that hog freeze, which everybody hates. It always makes you groan and die a little bit inside. So I waited a little bit to get my Golem down. I know he's got that Inferno Tower, which does a lot of damage to the Golem. And I kind of waited for him to use it, or for it to die out. And then I placed my Golem, my Royal Prince, and my Dragon. Now, as you can see, the Golem tanks up a lot of damage while that Royal Giant is just in the back doing damage. When the Golem finally dies and you have that dragon out, he's able to soak up a lot of that damage because it is a mini tank. So, excellent technique. I liked it. He's able to get that tower, but in the meantime, I continue my push with my Royal Giant, my Golems, and my mini dragon yet again. I'm able to get some decent damage down on that main turret, but he's got a pretty smooth threat on his team. So I decide, since I've got that tower down to half health on the right side, that I'm going to go for that right tower just because I think it's going to be a little bit easier for me to acquire that extra crown. So I get that dragon down just for some of that additional damage, and he's defending as best he can for all that he's worth. So I get that golem down, I get that second golem, I'm defending them as best I can, and at this point, there's really not much he can do, and I'm able to get that second turret in overtime. Wonderful, wonderful, made me happy. And the next one was a draw, just a 1-1 draw. He actually almost won because he was able to get those 2 P.E.K.K.A.s out, and they just did a lot of damage against me. So we're not going to show that one. He almost won it, but I was barely able to defend well and eke out that win in that overtime. And then the third one we're going to watch just because it made me giggle. It's actually a very, very lame replay, but you know when you make your opponent quit the match and rage quit that you have done something right. So he gets that hog out without too much trouble. Gets a little bit of damage down, and we just continue on from there. I get my elixir pump going. That elixir pump is always an excellent thing just to help generate the elixir. It costs 18 elixir for you to get the entire rotation down of the golem, the royal giant, as well as that mini dragon. So having that elixir pump out to help generate that elixir and also defend against their counter pushes is a very integral part, very, very helpful. And he has that poison spell, one of my favorite spells, but I'm able to defeat it with just my mini dragon and my golem. Now I'm counting at this point on him not having freeze, but I still do that protection against the hog rider with the spear goblins. They help take out that turret, and at this point I've got my royal giant. I place him, and then I use those arrows just to help defend, keep everything alive a little bit longer. And at this point, all I have to do is get that tower. And it's pretty easy to do. Those golems do a decent bit of damage. Unfortunately, the royal giant was taking damage, which isn't what you want. You want those golems to be the damage soakers, just because of the amount of health they have. And at this point, he's left. He's gotten depressed. It doesn't actually give you the notification on the replay, which is unfortunate. But you can see him not defending, so I just go ahead and take those 3 crowns because I can. But I like the fact that it made him rage quit. The other nice thing about this, as you can see here, we're going to slow this down to half speed. The royal giant, one very valuable benefit I can see of this is it might be easier to get 3 crowns with this, because as you'll see, when he stops to make that final shot, he is out of range of that other side tower, which is a marvelous, wonderful thing. One thing that's very frustrating that makes you not go for the 3 crowns as often is it's harder to attain it because of that additional range and the additional tower doing damage to you. So the royal giant avoids that damage and does a marvelous job of staying out of its aggro range and still being able to deal damage to that primary turret. So this is the deck that I particularly used. If you have different cards that are better for you, you're welcome to do it. Different turret. I like that Tesla. Stays hidden. Does damage to both air and ground. You can use mortar. You can use whatever it is you choose to use. But these are the ones that I chose to use that are high level for me. Oh, excuse me. So, anyways, that's how I use the Royal Giant. I really like him. It's been effective at the 2,500 trophy range. Like it. I hope you do. Comment if you have any comments. I hope you do. Share it. Subscribe. You know the drill. I say it every time. And hope you guys have a marvelous day. Thanks for watching.